Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. I was planning on going live today and doing a live get ready with me. And for some reason, I could not get my Facebook hooked in on my iPhone so that I could do it simultaneously here. So I had to go live on Facebook this morning. So I went ahead and did that. And I thought I'd just jump on here and just do a live with you all today to encourage you um, on your way today. I know sometimes when we get bogged down with things that are happening in the world, and honestly, I'm just going to be real blunt. I don't really know what's happening in the world because about a month and a half to 2 months ago, I stopped watching the news just because there was never any good news. They should call it the bad news because there's never any the good news on there. And so I really don't know what's going on in the world, but I do know that whatever is going on in the world is most likely not good. So I'm just wanting to encourage you today that regardless of what comes down the pike for you all, to just cling to the Lord and know that the Lord is with you. He is our strength, our song, our salvation, our present help in time of trouble. And encourage someone else today in the Lord. If you run across someone who needs a word of encouragement or someone that really needs to hear something good, or reach out to somebody, even if you don't run across them, if the Lord puts somebody on your heart, reach out to them today. Be salt and light. I know that's hard sometimes because sometimes I really feel like being vinegar. Honestly, I don't feel like being salt and light. I feel like being, vinegar and garlic in their life, because sometimes people are just mean. Sometimes they hurt us, and sometimes they don't really care and it doesn't bother them and they're indifferent to our pain. But we have to figure out a way to keep going, even even if it seems hard. And I was talking to I have a counselor, a therapist that I talk to every couple of weeks. And I was talking to her about a situation. And one thing she said to me when we were talking about relationships and things of that nature, and one thing she said really spoke to me. And it was like, when you're in a relationship, even if ending the relationship, whether you end the relationship or the other person ends the relationship, it doesn't matter. Especially sometimes we have to end those relationships. But if a relationship ends suddenly and something you weren't expecting, in spite of the pain, wouldn't you rather be the one who wanted to work it out than the one who wouldn't or didn't want to? And at the end of the day, I think I can honestly say, yes, I would rather be that person, because I think that indicates that a person who is willing to work things out does have a forgiving heart and a forgiving spirit. Now, that wasn't necessarily indicative of any situation that I had going on in particular. That was just something we were talking about in general in relationships, because I have had some things that I had, to discuss with her. And I'm going to tell you that being the one who wants to work it out is not always easy. And there are definitely times when we have to end relationships. I'm not talking about if you're in a toxic relationship, get out. I will help you get out. If you need help, send me an email. I will tell you the steps to take. I'm talking about just your relationships with your friends, and sometimes things just happen, and that's just, the way it is. So if you've done everything you can do, you have to have peace and you have to walk away. You may have to live with regret, but you can live with regret if acceptance comes with it. And we don't always have to have, one thing I've noticed is we don't always have to have what we feel like is closure. Yes, it's important. And yes, there are times when I really wish that I had that. But we can learn to live with it with God's help and let God be the one who gives us the closure from that. And I'm speaking kind of from the heart today because it's hard, you know, it's hard sometimes when you have to do things like that. But sometimes it's necessary for our own peace of mind. Um, I would encourage you, if you are in a difficult relationship, to evaluate it, see what needs to be done, and if there are steps that you need to take, take them. If the steps are that you feel like the Lord is leading you to terminate the relationship, then you got to do it. And if the Lord is prompting you to try to continue the relationship, if you can, do it. And that sometimes that's harder. In a lot of ways, that is more difficult to try to restore a relationship than it is just walk away from it. But sometimes that is the necessary thing to do, is to at least make an attempt. So, and once again, I'm not talking about things that are really bad, because I firmly believe that if you have an offense against your Christian brother, now, when I say offense, I mean you've had an argument or a disagreement. I don't mean if they've murdered your firstborn child. I don't mean anything like that. I mean, if you've had an argument or a time of disagreement or something of that nature, I really feel that we need to try to work that out. If it's as much as it depends on us, the Bible says, live at peace with all men and women. So if we can live in peace with others, do it. And if we can't, we can't, because sometimes things are out of our hands and sometimes people do leave. And, I've had that happen several times in my life, and it happens. And we sometimes can't control it. We can't change it. And it's just the way it is. So I'm just encouraging you today, if you're in the midst of a storm, just let the Lord help you with it, and let Him lead you through it, and let Him show you what to do, because He will. And I am going to recommend one thing that you can do that really does help. It's helped me more than anything in stressful moments of my life. Get out your journal and write about it. Write the person who has hurt you a letter. Don't mail it. Let it sit for a few weeks and pray about it. If you still feel the same way, write another letter and let it sit for a few weeks. And keep doing that until you can write a calm letter. Because sometimes things that are said in haste are hard to take back. And I know that very well from my life, because I'm somewhat of a hasty speaker. And I try not to be, but I am sometimes. But I always go back. There's an old saying that goes like this: a moment of patience in a moment of anger saves you 100 moments of regret. And that is absolutely the case. Guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless you. May the Lord be with you and with your spirit. God bless you. Bye-bye.